today. Back again with another video for you guys and gals. And today what I have for everyone is the camera redo video for the Moto E4 Plus. So we're going to redo the video samples, we're going to redo the photo samples, and we're going to consolidate everything into one big video for all of you guys and gals' convenience. Alright? But I thought it'd be cool before we get to that to do one big walkthrough of the camera interface. Alright, so starting off, first thing I want to do is go over the different ways that you can launch the cameras on your Moto E4 Plus. Now, the first one is probably the easiest one to do. What you want to do is from the lock screen on your device, you just want to swipe up on the camera icon and it will launch you directly into the camera interface. Or the next one you can do is from any state or any screen on your device, just quickly double press the power button and it will launch you into the cameras on your device. Or lastly, with the camera icon on any of the home screens on your device, all you have to do is just tap on the camera icon, and then it will drop you straight into the main landing page for the camera interface. Alright? Now, the next thing I want to do is go over all of the features inside of the main camera interface and go over all of the camera features. This way you get a better handle on everything that you need to know when you pick up your device. This way you're more comfortable with it. So starting off, across the top here on your main landing page, from left to right, we have a few quick settings here. So starting off, we have HDR controls, because this camera does have built-in HDR support. So you got a few options. You could leave it on auto, which means when the camera detects that it needs to use HDR, it will do so. You could have it on all the time, so the camera will always use HDR processing, or you could turn it off if it's something that you don't like. Then right next to that, we have our flash controls. So similar to the HDR controls, it's the same thing. You can leave the flash on auto, so when the camera detects that there's not enough light on the scene, it will try to use the flash to compensate. Or you could turn it on all the time, or you could turn it off. Now me myself, I tend to use a lot of natural light, so I like to turn it off. But you try it out and you use it the best way you think it works for you. Right next to the flash controls, we have a built-in timer. Now the timer is only for the photos. You do not have a built-in timer for the videos. So we got 3 seconds, we got 10 seconds, or you can leave it turned off. Now, me myself, in terms of photos, I don't really like to use a timer. In terms of video, I like to use a timer all the time, but this camera doesn't give you that option, so it is what it is. Now, next to that, we have the modes for the photo interface itself. So if I tap here, you got, oops, hit the wrong thing there. Turn it off. So if I tap here, you can see that we have two specific modes in regards to the photos. So we have auto mode, which is on by default, and then we have pro mode here, and this is a full dedicated pro mode. So you have focus controls, you have white balance controls, you have ISO controls, so on and so forth. And all of this can be edited in real time, and you can see the adjustments in real time. So you could do it one by one here. So you can set it up however you would like it, or you can do everything all at once and again set it up how you would like it. And everything is adjusted in real time. So you can see if I mess with the exposure here, it all gets adjusted in real time. So just like that, real nice. So there's that. So I'm really happy to see that Motorola incorporated a dedicated pro mode here. Let's jump back to the auto mode as we continue this walkthrough. And then in the upper right hand corner, we have the gear icon that will take you into the sub menu to manage some more camera settings. But we're going to come back to that in a little bit. Now, just below the viewfinder, we're greeted with a few things here. One, this main set of icons below the viewfinder indicates to you what mode you're in. So right now we're in photo only mode. Now you can tap on the icons. If you tap to the right, that's going to take you into video mode. If you tap to the left in the 3-dot hamburger menu, that's going to take you to the additional modes that the camera can do. So you can tap on it like so, or you can swipe through it like so. So if I could just swipe this way, swipe that way, swipe that way. So however you're most comfortable doing it, that's how you get to it here. So you can see, talking about the additional modes here, before we move on, we do have panoramic photos. So you can do panoramic photos. Can't do panoramic video. It would have been nice to have that. And we can do YouTube live streams directly from the cameras on the Moto E4 Plus itself. So if you feel the itch to do a live stream, you can just pick up your E4 Plus and be off to the races. So that's really, really nice there. Okay? And that's pretty much all the additional modes. Now if we swipe to the far right, this takes you into your video mode here. And what's really nice about the Moto interface here is that it takes you to the mode that you're in, and it doesn't start right away. So if I wanted to line up my video and then push record, I could do that. Same thing, if I wanted to line up my photo and then snap a photo, I could do that as well. And we do have full exposure controls, just like so. So you could tap and control the exposure, just like so. And you can lock the exposure just by pressing and holding. So now the exposure is locked, so on and so forth. We do have full zoom controls as well, with a few different ways to do this. Now there's pinch to zoom, like so. Or you can just tap and swipe up and down. So there's a few different ways you can zoom here. So that's really, really nice. Now, moving along, below the main modes indicator here, you do have a few more things. As I said, we have our main shutter button, which if we move to videos, it becomes a main recording button. And then right next to that, we have our Google Lens support, because the Moto E4 Plus cameras do incorporate Google Lens into the software. So you can read images that the camera detects and it will pop out search results. Same thing, you can scan text and it will pop out search results and do translations. And then right next to that, we have the quick switch icon to take you to the front-facing cameras. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that in a second here. And then to the far right of that, we have a quick shortcut to take you into the gallery. Now the primary gallery of choice is the Google Photos apps, but you can always download a secondary gallery from the Google Play Store if you don't like Google Photos. It is what it is. Alright, now let's jump over to the video mode for a second here, and let me just reiterate some things. Now, for the video mode, you do have flash controls with the rear cameras. So let's say you're taking a video and it's a little too dark. You could turn on the torch and try to get some more light on the scene. So that's really nice to see there. Now, what would have also been cool is if they incorporated a timer, because I find that timers are really invaluable to have, especially in video. All right. But what's also neat here is if I jump to the front-facing camera, I still also have a torch on the front-facing camera. So if I lean forward, you can see it lights up my face real nice, because we do have front-facing flash built into the Moto E4 Plus. So that's really, really cool as well. So whether you're doing a photo or whether you're doing a video, you still have flash controls. So really nice to see that. All right. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the front-facing cameras here. So, switching over to the front-facing camera, we have all of these same controls as the rear-facing camera. So, as you can see here, HDR controls, we got flash controls, but we do have one addition here. So we do have beauty mode here. Now I'm not a big fan of beauty mode, so I tend to keep it turned off. I'm okay with what the Lord blessed me with. I don't feel the need to improve it or anything like that via software. I'm okay with the way I look. Like Men's Warehouse, you're going to enjoy the way you look. I'm okay with that. So I tend to turn off all beauty modes because I like to rock that natural look, you know what I'm saying? But if y'all like beauty modes, you play around with it, you find what works best for you. Other than that, everything is exactly the same as the rear. So we have flash controls, and we do have a manual mode. Again, the manual mode is just for photos. So that's really, really nice. Now, one negative to the front-facing camera is we do lose panoramic photos. So if I swipe over here into the additional modes, you can see we still have the YouTube live streams, but we don't have panoramic photos here. So that is a negative with the front-facing camera, but it is what it is. Other than that, everything else is exactly the same as the rear. Other than the fact that we have a 5 megapixel sensor on the front and we have a 13 megapixel sensor on the rear, and then we still have our shutter button for photos, and if we swipe over the videos, it turns into our video recording button, and then we still have our quick gallery shortcut to take us into our gallery, so on and so forth. Okay, now let's dive a little bit deeper into the settings on the cameras on the Moto E4 Plus. Now to do that, we hit the gear icon in the upper right hand corner, and this is where we can change a few things and verify a few things as well. Now, starting off with the front-facing cameras, this is where you can verify that the front-facing camera is indeed a 5 megapixel sensor. But when you're shooting with all 5 megapixels, you're stuck recording in the 4:3 aspect ratio. So you will get the letterbox effect. Now, if you want to shoot in the more traditional widescreen format or 16:9 format, then you're going to have to bump it down to 3.8 megapixels. Okay? Other than that, this is also where you can verify the video recording limitations as well. So you can see the maximum recording resolution for the Moto E4 Plus is 1080p at 30 frames per second. Okay? And you can go all the way down to standard HD at 30 frames per second. That's what 480p is. Standard HD, the same resolution as a regular DVD. Not a Blu-ray, but a regular DVD, 480p. Alright? Other than that, we do have some saving settings, so you can control where your photos and videos get stored. Now, out of the box, if you plug in an SD card and you format it as portable storage, then you can come in here and change that to the SD card's location. Me, myself, I have the SD card set as internal storage, so that option is grayed out. Then just below that, we have the option to save our location settings. Now this adds a little piece of metadata to your photos and videos, so it can tag your locations. Now I'm not a big fan of that, so I turned that off out of the box. Whoops. Now, moving further down, we got some quick capture and capturing settings here. So this is where you can control the double press of the power button to quickly launch you into the camera app. And also, this is where you can enable or disable tap anywhere to take a photo. So that's pretty much a Motorola staple. It makes it super easy to take photos. So if I turn it on here and we jump back to the main interface here, as you can see, you can tap anywhere to take a photo, or you can tap and hold to take multiple photos, and then go ahead and pick out your best one. Alright? And it goes through the exposure controls again. So, as with before, tap anywhere on the screen, here, and it's going to focus and take a photo. Same thing with the rear-facing camera. So if I jump back to the rear, and I tap on this light here, it's going to focus and take a photo. Now I can move it around, and then even still, after I tap, it will still focus and then take the photo. So the tap anywhere in conjunction with the double tap to launch the camera is a really quick way to get into your gallery and take a photo, or a really quick way to get into your photo camera and take a video. Sorry, I'm messing up a little bit here today, guys and gals, but y'all know what I mean. But jumping back into the main settings here, as I said, moving further down here, you can also turn off your shutter sound if you don't like to have that enabled. Then you can also add guidelines, gridded guidelines. So if we jump back to the interface here, you can see everything is cut up into thirds here to assist you with lining up your shot the best way possible. Alright, then we could turn on and off the Google Lens, and then we can run through the tutorial and see the source code information. And that pretty much does it for the camera interface on the Moto E4 Plus. And honestly, in regards to how camera interfaces go, I think Moto has one of the best camera interfaces around. It's really, really easy to use and really straightforward, and it doesn't hinder the user's experience in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I'm a big fan of the overall camera interface on Moto devices. Okay? That being said, that brings an end to this portion of the video. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut in the photo samples and then cut in the video samples and bring the video to a close. For your guys and gals' convenience, this whole video will be time-stamped, so feel free to jump around to the portions of the video that you would like to know more about. I'll catch y'all on the other side. Peace. This is camera test area number 1. Yeah, I know what it is. I use this spot all the time. And I'm testing out the rear facing cameras on the Moto E4 Plus. This is the redo for the full camera video. Alright. And so this is being done at 720p resolution at 30 frames per second. Alright. And actually, because I'm keeping it 100 with y'all today, I'm actually using recording rig number 2 to stabilize this. Either number 2 or number 3. So anyways, I'm going to just tell you what it is. So the base is my mini Manfrotto tripod. Alright. The grip is my Readycam grip. Alright. And then I'm using my Ulanzi mount. Alright. Which has the phone inside of it. So let me know what y'all think of the stabilization. It is a gorgeous day out here today. So if y'all ain't realized, I've been actually running through the pan test while I've been talking. So that's pan number 2. And we're going to do one more pan. Then we're going to do the focus testing, so on and so forth. Alright, so we're going to come all the way back. Bam, just like that. Now let's check the focus. So focus down on the ground here. Looks good. Go all the way up here. Looks good. Go over here. Looks good. Focus is nice and fast. Looks good. Looks real good. Let's do this again. Right here. Right there at the tree. Right there at the ground. Back to the pillar there. Yeah, focus is nice and fast. Nice and fast. Well, at least it's reporting focus nice and fast, because the Moto interface, it has a focusing circle. So when it thinks the phone is in focus, I will get a green circle. So this is actually doing pretty good. Now, let's check exposure here. So we're going to pan all the way down to the ground, and we're going to pan up and out to the tree in the distance, and we want a nice smooth transition from a dark area to a light area with minimal exposure blowout. So let's see how this does. We're going to do this 3 times. So we're down to the ground here, and we're panning up and out, and we're onto the tree. That was pretty good. Back down to the ground. It looks good. And we're panning up and out here. Bam. Okay. One more time. Down to the ground. Little bit of a focus struggle there. Back up and out. Bam. Okay. Now let's check the zoom here. Alright, so this bad boy has 4 times zoom on it. So this right here, I don't want to mess with the exposure. It does have exposure controls too. So this right here is right there. Hold on, let me get it. Is 1.5 times zoom. So that's what that would look like. That actually doesn't look half bad if you ask me. A little bit of pixelization. Alright. Yeah. Alright, now let's go up to 2 times zoom. And this is 2 times zoom right here. Again, pretty good. Pretty good. And actually, and I've said it before in my other camera tests, this is as far as I would zoom in with my devices. Because when you zoom in on your device, unless it has a telephoto or some type of optical stabilization, when you're zooming in, all you're really doing is digitally cropping the image. So at a certain point, as you're going to get ready to see here, this image is going to get really blown out and it's going to get really pixelated. So this is 2 times zoom. Now let's take it to the max 4 times zoom here. Alright, so this is 4 times zoom. So can you see the difference there? See how the grass looks? That's not really how the grass looks to the eye But because I digitally cropped in the image or zoomed in the image to its max, you see how that grass looks? So this is why I would recommend you don't zoom in your devices past 2x zoom. If you need to get close to your subject, you need to physically get as close to your subject as possible, okay? And another thing, when you zoom in all the way, that's when you can really see the stabilization or lack thereof. Now, the Moto E4 Plus only has EIS, electronic image stabilization. Alright, so there's no OIS, or optical image stabilization. And this is really apparent when you zoom your device all the way in. Alright, so this was camera redo for the rear-facing cameras. Alright, now let's go ahead and switch to the front, and then we're going to switch areas. Oh, and I also forgot to point out that you can indeed take photos while in video. So let me point that out before I forget. So you do have a pause button, you have a stop button for the recording, and you have a photo button. So y'all can see I can snap a photo of this tree right here. Boom. Or I can snap a photo of this pillar right here. Y'all gonna have to forgive the shaky hands. Bam. Just like that. So there we go. Now let's switch to the front, and then we're going to switch areas. Alright. Now I'm back in with another video test for you guys and gals. And today, what I have here for everyone now is this is a front-facing camera test of the Moto E4 Plus. This is the front-facing 5-megapixel sensor on the Moto E4 Plus. And this video is being recorded in 720p at 30 frames per second. Whew. You know, the cameras on the E4 Plus max out at 1080p on the front and the rear. That's 1080p 30 on the front and the rear. And I gotta say, I've owned this device for a really long time, and aside from the software being a little bit laggy because I think the hardware is starting to deteriorate, the battery life on this bad boy has been phenomenal. But yeah, this is a real quick front-facing camera test of the 5-megapixel camera on the Moto E4 Plus. Please let me know what you think of the stabilization, because again, the Moto E4 Plus only has EIS, or electronic image stabilization. Alright? And yeah, so let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the video quality. Let me know what you think of the audio quality, and let me know what you think of the stabilization. I'll catch y'all in the next clip. Peace, everybody. Alright, so now we're going to do another camera sample test. This time, we're testing out the 13-megapixel rear-facing camera on the Moto E4 Plus, and this video is being recorded in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Alright? So, we're going to run through the usual testing now. We're going to do some pans, we're going to do some focus tests, we're going to do some exposure tests, we're going to do some zoom testing, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, as always, please let me know what you think of the audio quality, as well as the video quality, and the overall stabilization down below in the comments. Your feedback is always greatly appreciated. And just so you remember, the cameras on the E4 Plus only have EIS, or electronic image stabilization. So there is no OIS, or optical image stabilization, on this one. So steady hands or a stabilizer is important, especially if you want some really stable video. Anyway, that was pan number 3. So now let's get to working on the exposure testing here. So I'm just going to pan down to the ground right here. Alright. And we got a nice focus lock, and everything seems to be exposed correctly. Oddly enough, that is the correct color for the pool deck. A nice off eggshell color. Now we're going to pan up and out to that tree over there by the pool and see how the exposure handles. So you can see what we're looking for here is a nice smooth transition from the lighter areas of the video to the darker or shadowy areas of the video with minimal exposure blowout. So we're going to do this 3 times. That was number 1. So let's go again. And this is number 2. And you can see there's a nice smooth transition with minimal blowout. So these cameras are doing pretty good. Pretty good indeed. That's 2. One more time. And unlike some other cameras, and it's really funny, like my S8 cameras, they want to make my pool deck here like a white color, because as you can see, the rim around the pool itself is white. So sometimes the S8 tends to struggle and it wants to make everything white. So it's really nice to see that this cheaper device is doing a much better job at accurate color representation. And one more time. There we go. So now let's do some focus testing here. So I got a few subjects. I got more than a few subjects here. We got some plants over there. We got a hammer way in the distance. We got the pool balls. We got the chair. So let's just pick 3 of these, and we're going to run through these focus points, and I'm just going to report when the phone has a focus lock. And the neat thing that I like about the Moto E4 Plus and the Moto camera interface in general, you have a white circle, and when the camera has a focus lock, it turns green. And you can also tap and hold and control the exposure, or you can tap and hold and zoom in and out for the zoom, or tap and hold and swipe up and down for the exposure. So really nice camera interface on the Moto E4 Plus, and it's very straightforward and easy to use, very intuitive. Anyways, let's get to this focus testing here. Alright, so we're focused on the ball right here. As it tries to float away, we got a focus lock. Let's go to the chair, got a focus lock. Let's go back to the ball one more time. Focus lock. It's real quick. Back to the chair. Focus lock. Okay, let's go out to the distance. Focus on the hammer there, and we're locked. Let's go to these plants over here, and we're locked. So really good stuff. You know what? Let's pan down to the table here, and we're locked. Okay. All right. I think y'all saw my headphone cable in the frame there. Apologize, because this is hooked up to my one of my production rigs. And I keep a microphone mounted on it at all times. So, yeah. Anyways, real quick focus. It's pretty fast. It's really good. Really good. Now, let's check the zoom. So, I believe the Moto E4 Plus has 4 times zoom. Let me just double check. Yep, 4 times. Alright. So, let's check the zoom. So far throughout this video, I've been using no zoom, because the Moto E4 Plus doesn't have like a telephoto lens or anything like that. So when you zoom in, you're only digitally cropping the image. And the more you zoom in, the more cropped the overall image gets, and the more degraded it gets, okay, and or pixelated. So like I do with all of my camera videos, I always recommend to my viewers and my followers and my friends and family, big thank you goes out to my aunt for this, because she's the one that, put your boy onto this, that you don't want to digitally crop your image, okay? What you want to do is find a nice, comfortable crop point, and then if you need to get closer, you want to physically get as close to your subject as possible. This way, you do one of 2 things. You keep the video stable, and you get a nice amount of detail with minimal loss, okay? So let's bump it up to 2 times zoom. So you just pinch in 2 times. There we go. So this is as far as I would recommend you guys and gals zoom in if you want to zoom in with the E4 Plus. Now what you would do is get as physically as close to the subject you're trying to capture as possible. Because you can see you're still retaining a nice amount of detail here, and everything is looking good. The camera's actually doing a great job. But as you're going to see here in a second, when I move up to the maximum zoom point, the image is going to get really degraded. And as you can tell, now we are on my setup here, so stabilizations are going to be really good. But as you zoom in with the cameras, you start to isolate the little micro movements, so it gets more unstable. That's another reason why I don't like to zoom in a lot, and it's only going to get worse as I move on. So as we bump up to maximum zoom here, 4 times zoom, you can see how shaky the video got, and we did lose a lot of detail. Like you see the grass over there in the distance. To me, through the viewfinder, now I don't know what y'all are seeing on the playback, I'll see it in post, but to me, through the viewfinder, that doesn't look like real grass. That's looking very pixelated and very blotchy or swatchy. I don't know what the word is for that. So this is why I don't zoom in all the way with my camera sensors. Now, if I focus on something a lot further out, you can see we still retain some detail, but the overall image itself, the sharpness is lost considerably at maximum zoom. And again, the colors are bright and vivid, but swatchy. So this is why I don't recommend you use the maximum zoom on your smart camera if you don't have a telephoto lens or any type of zoom lens. Then you're just digitally cropping the image, and all you're going to do is degrade the image. So I don't recommend you go past 2 times the zoom. Alright, now that pretty much does it for this camera test. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, y'all know what to do. Anyways, let me do a few more camera samples here, and then we'll wrap this video up. So let's go ahead and cut to the front facing cameras now. I'll be right back. Alright, so now once again we're testing out the front facing 5 megapixel camera on the Moto E4 Plus. This time this video is being recorded in 1080p at 30 frames per second, and this is the maximum resolution the Moto E4 Plus can record at. And once again, we're out by the pool here. The E4 Plus is in one of my recording rigs. In particular, I'm using my Mini Manfrotto tripod, my Readycam grip, and my Ulanzi mount here. And it's just sitting on my pool table here. So let me know what y'all think. This is perfect for a nice stationary vlog or a quick discussion video. Perfect for that. And you can see, I feel through the viewfinder that the Moto E4 Plus is actually doing a great job. But you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. How's the detail? How's the camera doing with my skin tone? How's it doing with the background and the reflections? How's the overall audio? Because my mic is not plugged in this time. We're using the onboard mics for the E4 Plus. Alright, now let's check stabilization. So if I pick up the whole rig here, again, how's the camera doing as I start to move around here? How's it doing with the adjusting for the changes in light? How's it doing with the stabilization for the motion? Because once again, this only has EIS, so there's only electronic image stabilization here. So as you move, you may see some of those micro shakes and micro jitters. It is what it is, okay? So just wanted to show y'all that real quick. Now, I just want to do a few more small camera tests. So we're going to go inside now. I'm going to do some testing. I'm going to close up all my shades in the main shooting area, and we're going to test these cameras in low light. Alright? And then I'm going to wait till it gets dark, and we're going to test it with artificial light. And then after that, I'm going to take one more day, and we're going to go out to the big yard where it's nice and sunny, and we're going to do one more camera test, and I'm going to snap a few more camera samples for you guys and gals, and that will be a wrap to the video. So now let's take it inside. Let me get everything set up so we can test these cameras in as minimal daytime light as possible, and then we're going to test the front and the rear. And then probably tomorrow or Friday, I'll take it out to the big yard. Whenever we have our next sunny day like this, I'll take it out to the big yard and we'll do the final set of camera tests. So hold on, I'll be right back. Let's go inside. Now we're back in, we're indoors, and I have my shades cracked. We're in the main shooting area here, and I just wanted to do a two-stage low light simulated test. So let's say it was a shady day. That's what cracking the shades is meant to do. This is the type of footage that you can look forward to if you had some type of shaded area like I have. Now, like I said, this is the main shooting space. Alright, and once again, we're using one of my video production gear kits here. We have the Mini Manfrotto tripod, the Readycam grip, and the UNZ smartphone mount. Alright, and that's what we're using to stabilize the Moto E4 Plus here. And this is again testing out the front-facing cameras in 1080p. So this is some nice stationary footage for y'all, and man, it's really kind of dark in here, man. But this is again to simulate one stage of low light. Now let me pick it up and let's move around here. And you can see as I move around, the camera readjusts quite nicely. So I'm actually in a shaded area, and this is about the right amount of light that I actually have. But if I tilt the camera, it's having a hard time getting the exposure just right. I have to like find the perfect place right there that seems to give the camera enough light. But again, how is the stabilization? How do you think the camera is performing? Alright, let me know. Now let's spin the camera around and let's do a rear facing camera test in the same lighting conditions. And just so y'all know, there is no microphone plugged in right now. So this is using the onboard microphones of the E4 Plus. Let me know what you think. Let's switch to the rear facing cameras. Be right back. Alright, and now this is the rear facing camera test with the same indoor low light conditions. And actually, this isn't too bad. Like if I wanted to do an unboxing or a product review, this is just enough light to get her done. And in all actuality, all I would do to flood this area with more light is I'd go turn the shades so they're wide open. And if you look off to the side here, I would open up all of these shades. All of those shades would get opened up, and this whole area will get flooded with light, and then it would be perfectly lit. But this is to simulate a low light scenario here, and this is where I would do my product reviews and unboxing. So if I put the rig down here and I angle it down, now I'm perfectly set up to do an unboxing or a review of some sort. So y'all can see, just for demonstration purposes, I have my Boya microphone here, and it's actually extremely nicely lit. So you can see the text is very clear and everything is extremely nice. So this is really, really good lighting, and I feel like this camera is doing a great job. So let's bring in another product to simulate something like a phone review perhaps. So let's see, what phone do I got on me today? Got the Pixel and the S8 here. So let's break the S8 out. Bam. You see how that looks? Let's bring that in. Bam. And let me angle this up. So that's almost perfect. All I would have to do now is adjust the brightness on the device so you know the camera can re-expose properly. And then if I wanted to do a feature demo, maybe I got a new security patch, maybe I got a new system update, and I wanted to demo a new feature, we could do that. Same thing could be said if I wanted to do a versus/comparison video. the Moto E4 Plus would probably be really good for that. Now, I do have to stress that I don't think the microphone quality when it comes to shooting outdoors is the greatest. So if you're going to do a lot of outdoor recording or vlogging, you do want to pick up a separate dedicated mic. And I have tested the Moto E4 Plus with all of the mics that I own. And including a separate dedicated mic does improve the overall audio. So yeah. Again, this was just a real quick camera test of the rear-facing 13 megapixel camera on the Moto E4 Plus. And now this is indoors with minimal daylight lighting. Alright, so now I'm going to wait for the sun to go down. Then I'm going to crack on my artificial lights and we're going to redo a similar test. Okay, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of the overall video quality as well as the overall audio quality down below. And let's move on to the last set of clips here. Let me just adjust this because it's irritating me that the brightness is not right. I need that to be sharp. So it should be like right about there. And then you see how sharp the text is. Now the camera does still struggle with the lighter colors, but this is perfectly fine to do a video. Look at that. Everything is crisp, clear, and sharp, and it's in focus. So good stuff. I just wanted to, it was bugging me that it was kind of blown out on the camera. So I just wanted to take the time to fix it. Anyways, I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all in the next clip. Alright, so I'm back in now with the final test for you guys and gals. So we're testing out the front-facing camera on the Moto E4 Plus. And the sun has officially went down now. It is 10:35 p.m. And so this is a front-facing camera test of the 5 megapixel camera on the Moto E4 Plus. This video is being recorded in 1080p at 30 frames per second. And the only thing that's lighting up the scene here is my overhead light, which is artificial lighting. And there is no external microphone hooked up. So please let me know what you think of the overall video quality. How's the cameras doing? How's it doing with my skin tone? How's it doing with the background? How are the colors getting represented? My bad, can't talk tonight. About to call it tonight. And yeah, also let me know what you think of the onboard microphones because there is no external microphone hooked up here. Alright, don't really want to make this video too much longer than that. I'll catch y'all in the next clip. Peace. Alright, and now we are back in with the final set of tests on the Moto E4 Plus. So we're out here in the big yard today and we're going to run through our typical testing. So we're going to do some pans, we're going to do some focus tests, we're going to do some exposure tests, we're going to do some zoom testing, and then we'll wrap the video up. And then we'll switch to the front-facing camera to close out the video. So starting off, let's pan from here all the way through to right about there and back 3 times. So that was number 1. Alright, and here we go with number 2. Okay, and let's bring it back. And here we go with number 3. Alright, now I do want to apologize because we don't have the best weather here today. I was trying to get out and do this yesterday, but I was extremely busy yesterday, and then it started storming today, and I still have to take the time to edit this and put everything together real nicely so you guys will have a nice finished video. And I did promise you guys it'll be out by Sunday, so that doesn't really leave me too much space to maneuver. So I had to shoot today because this is the last possible day I could do it. So I do apologize for the overcast day here, but we have to take what we're given. Alright, now let's check out the exposure. So to test the exposure here, we just pan down to the grass here. Then we're going to pan up and out to one of the trees in the distance. And what we're looking for here when we test exposure is a nice smooth transition from one focus point to the other with minimal exposure blowout or blowout of colors. So here we go. We're going to do this 3 times. So we're focused on the grass now. Now we're going to pan up and out to that tree in the distance and see what happens. So here we go. Boom. Now, it got pretty dark as we panned up. Let's do it one more time. Boom. And last one. Boom. So, did pretty good, but it did get pretty dark at the top there. Now, next thing I want to do is check out the focusing speeds. So we're going to pick a few focusing points here. So this tree directly in front of us, that trailer off in the distance, and let's see, this chair off to my right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through these, and I'm just going to report when the camera gets a lock. So one way you'll know that the camera is locked that is because your white circle will go from white to green. This indicates that you do have a focus lock. So without further ado, let's get this going. So we're focused on the tree. It's all locked up. Go over to the trailer. From white to green, it's locked up. Go over to the chair. White to green, it's locked up. It's really quick. Back to the trailer here. White to green, locked up. Back to the tree here. White to green, locked up. Really quick stuff. Back to the trailer. Green. That was even faster than I can call it out. Back to the chair, green. Good stuff. Back to the tree, one more time. White to green, good, locked up. Back to the trailer, green, locked up. Good stuff. So the overall focusing speed here is really, really quick and good. So now, the last part of this test is I just wanted to do some zoom testing for you guys and gals. So right now, we have no zoom applied. And let's pick a focus point here. So the leaves on this tree look good. Let's go up to 2 times zoom. Alright. That's 2 times zoom right there. And you can see, this is why I recommend 2 times zoom as the maximum that you zoom in. Because you can see at 2 times zoom, we still maintain all of the detail. We still maintain the colors. And we got minimal loss. Okay? Now it does get shakier as we zoom in, so you can see as I zoom in, you got a lot more micro shakes from my hand movement here. Now I do apologize, your boy Duke got shaky hands. It is what it is, and EIS could only help out so much. Alright, now let's take it up to the maximum zoom. So this is 4 times zoom, and as you can see, the colors, at least to me, through the viewfinder, they did get a little bit washed out. We do have some loss of detail here, and the video itself, if I pan around, got even more shakier. So this is one of the reasons why I don't recommend that you zoom in all the way on your device. You're going to lose stabilization, you're going to lose detail, and you're going to wash out the colors. So I always recommend, unless you have a phone or a camera with a dedicated sensor for zooming or a telephoto lens, don't go past 2 times zoom. Alright, now let's take it all the way out and let's switch to the front facing camera. Alright, and now to round out the video, this is the last front facing camera test. Okay, this one is being recorded at 720p at 30 frames per second. Okay, because I noticed that when you record at 1080p, the camera does struggle a lot, and I get a lot of forced closes and a lot of media fail to capture. So I found to alleviate that issue, you have to bump it down to 720p. So if you have an older Moto E4 Plus like myself and you're running into that issue, try downgrading the resolution that you're recording at, and that may fix it. But that being said, as we bring this camera walkthrough to a close, I have to say, overall, the cameras on the Moto E4 Plus are pretty good. As long as you're mindful of the limitations of the overall camera hardware and the software itself, I do believe you can get some really good photos and some really good video from the onboard cameras and microphones on the Moto E4 Plus. Okay? So overall, I have to say these cameras are pretty good. That being said, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, y'all know what to do. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace, everyone.